And then you gotta show me again how to pause it.
Because we're gonna take about an hour pause and then go live to adjourn.
Well, unless somebody
Well,
else
we
comes
never
in.
go, we never go live, we never go back to live. When we adjourn the county board, you know what I mean, if that's all you have to do. Going back live, that really doesn't need to be recorded.
But if somebody else comes in.
That would be the only thing. Yeah, we don't have to go live to adjourn, right?
Right.
But if somebody else came in. But see, that's the thing, Mike, you
Okay, hang on
can't,
a second, because you are live now, so I'm gonna do. And click on that. Now your audio is live and your video is live and you are free to go.
all right, so we're gonna call the Board of Review meeting for Thursday, August 11th, 2022 to order. Let the record show all are present with the exception of Nelson. Item 2, elect chairperson and vice chairperson. So at this time, I would open nominations for chairperson.
I nominate Jeff Hohenweider as chair
Do we have a second?
and Janita Zimmerman as vice chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second the chairperson nomination.
You can second. You can second the other one.
I'll second the other one.
Okay. Are there any other nominations at this time? Are there any other nominations? Nominations are closed. I would take a vote for the chair and vice chair. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 3, approve the June 10th, 2021 Board of Review minutes. I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion. We accept minutes as written.
Is there a second? JB. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Item 4, confirmation of open book and Board of Review notices posted and published. Is that verified?
Yep, they were posted on the board, the bulletin boards. They were posted on the door. They were on the website, and it was published in the Green Bay Press Gazette as a legal notice.
Do you know the dates on the Press Gazette, Karen? Okay.
Okay, so that's just acknowledgement. We can move on, correct? Okay. Item 5, verify at least one Board of Review member has met the mandatory training requirements. That is confirmed, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Item 6, summary of annual assessment by Assessor Mike Melver. Mike, if you want to come forward, that'd be great.
I know for some of you, this information is going to be a repeat of things that you already know, but I think it's important to be reminded of it. First of all, Wisconsin state law requires periodic revaluations. The timing on it usually follows the major class comparison law, which measures the major
He's got a good voice.
major groupings of property by residential, commercial, if it's in excess of 5% of the total value in the municipality. That those total assessed values must be within 10% of the equalized value as established by the Department of Revenue. At this point, according to my records, we're at about 99% of market value for this year, equalized value, net figure, okay? The change in assessment from last year to this year, actually the change in equalized value, I should say, from last year to this year, as measured by the Department of Revenue, is 29% on residential properties. So there was a 29% increase. Had this revaluation been done last year, this year you'd be out of compliance with that 10% variation. So you see what these markets are doing. And we're getting some indication that they're starting to slow down, at least. Whether they're leveling off, we're not sure yet. There's not been enough sales recorded and analyzed to see about that. So we've got this increase as a result of the revaluation, and because of that, I'm expecting that the tax rate for 2022 will be below $20 per thousand. Now that doesn't account for any increases at school, county, or city. That's just comparison to what last year's rate was and this year's rate and the amount of change there.
That was $20 per how much?
$1,000.
$20 per $1,000 of assessment.
Thank you.
So I think that kind of covers what I wanted to get across to you on those items. Held an open book session here, and I had 8 people come in a 2-hour session. Going back through my notes, it looks like I've had contact from another 32 individuals in the city concerning their assessments. The majority of those, it was just educating them as to what the assessments really meant and how the mill rate will come out on that. So unless there are some questions on the assessment activity, we can go on to the next.
Go ahead, Mike, can you continue then?
Okay. Next is,
Can I add something?
Sure, go ahead.
Mike, if I remember right, at one time on the county board, we were as high as 115%.
yes, sir.
Is that possible that we can go to work and increase our assessment here? If by going through, we could go to work and get to that figure?
It's possible. It's not a very easy thing to explain to the general
I
populace.
understand that.
So if the market tanks,
It
The
could
real
go to
estate-
115.
if the real estate market drops, without doing anything on the assessments, we could be 110, 120.
Because then the assessment ratio would go up instead of down,
Right.
correct?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that can change. So then we get to item number 7 on the agenda. That's the assessor's affidavit. I'll read it for the record. State of Wisconsin, County of Kewaunee. I, Michael Mulver, the assessor for the city of Kewaunee and said county, do solemnly swear that the annexed assessment roll contains, according to my best information and belief, a complete list of all real and personal property liable for assessment for the present year, and that the valuations of real and personal property liable for assessment for the present year in said municipality have been made with the best information available that can practicably be obtained using professionally accepted appraisal practices. I swear that I performed without prejudice all the duties of the office of assessor with respect to such assessment roll. Notices of changed assessment as required by state law, section 70.365 Wisconsin statutes, were deposited in the U.S. mail on July 7th, 2022. Also, I do solemnly swear that I am certified by the Wisconsin Department of Revenue under state law, section 73.09 Wisconsin statutes, to perform the duties of assessor. I will sign this affidavit. I'll turn it over to the clerk. Her signature. Date, month, year. Get this out of your way since it looks like you're a little crowded there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Now you can go on item 8.
yes.
Okay. The assessment roll and perform the following. A, examine the roll. B, correct description of calculation errors. C, add omitted property. D, eliminate double assessed property.
Those items we can address after the hearing. They don't have to be done at this particular time. Since Mr. Willard is here for the hearing. But we can go down, there's no number 9. There are no corrections in the roll. All open book changes have, and number 10, all open book changes have been put in. That's what I was doing this afternoon. Picking up on that. And then we get to number 11.
Okay, so number 11, hear objections on the tax roll. So then we can begin with Mr. Kickbush,
Yes.
Willard Kickbush. So this is Willard Kickbush, 317 3rd Street, Kewanee. Mike, do you swear him in or who swears, or she swears in? Okay,
Clerk swears in.
or both of you. Do we have the reading for her to read?
Have you got?
Janita's on it. It's right underneath her.
Do you solemnly swear in a matter before hearing to, okay, we'll find. We get it
You're
here.
good. Keep going. I don't know if it's in here.
You don't have that in your binder possibly?
I don't,
Okay.
let me jot it down here.
Yes, Willard, you're good at it.
How do you know? You never really heard me. I guess we all went to it.
Mike's writing it down, Janita.
Okay. It might be in here. I know it's on,
I would think it would be, but
I don't see it anywhere.
you were gonna expect her to remember to say all that?
Just like we
He was like,
They're like repeating the vows that
oh
when
yeah,
you get married, you know.
same thing. I repeat after me.
Years. You should know it by then.
I would think. I think it would be a pretty good section, Janita.
Mhm,
It would stand out.
and it's not.
Right hand, Wilbur.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear in the matter of the hearing to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth to help you God? Please state your name and address for the record.
Willard Kickbush, 317 3rd Street, Kewanee, Wisconsin.
Michael Mulver in 6166 Little Chicago Road, Deerbrook, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
So Willard, I guess we'll listen to your side of the assessment.
Mike and I already discussed over the phone. And after doing so, I did a little research on my neighbors, and I would like a couple comparisons, and I don't know if Mike has this booklet here or not. But he jacked me up $75,000. I think it's excessive. The only thing I did to my property and my house was paint and put on some shutters. If that has any bearing upon it whatsoever. But comparing my neighbors, which I did, I find that, can I use names or should I not use names? Just,
Mike, that's fine. Sure.
yeah, all right, Mr. Bose next door to me, who at the present time has a assessed rate Mike came up with of $141, and looking over square footage, he's got 24,550, and I'm at 20,300. He's got a lot that is 74 by 150 and another 70.
Are you talking about the lot or the house or the square footage house size? What's the
For the
20,000
full lot,
for the full lot?
for the full lot, yeah. I mean, and he has a garage that is 30 by 60. And I have also another building on my property, which is 32 by, or 28 by 32. And I'm at 209,000. New figure. I just think that I'm $20,000 over on what my assessment should be. I also went next door to my neighbor, which is Mr. Clark. And Mr. Bose also has a 3-bedroom home. I have nothing more than a Pittsfield home put on a foundation. 2-bedroom. And my garage behind, which I cherish and like and would never let go. And Mr. Bose has a 3-bedroom home and has a garage that is 30 by 50 on a piece of property right behind him. And my land is, I don't think, or his land is no better than mine or vice versa, but I'm $75,000 or 75, I'll get confused. $75,000 increase of what I had last year. I just think that it's excessive that I went up that much. $20,000, yeah, that would be about 30%. I think that would be normal, or what you said before, 29% assessed value in the city. But this is just a little excessive. But then let's go next door to that, Mr. Clark.
Is that all you have for now then, Willard?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike,
I'd like to ask Willard a couple of questions.
please.
Mr. Kickbush. You know that you have to prove the assessment wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any sales of other properties to actually compare to your home to see where the market is?
No, not actual sales.
Okay.
I don't think I have no. All I have is actual
Okay.
figures.
All right, I guess I don't know what else to ask at this point.
You having a current appraisal, Willard?
I went to work and asked last week. Yeah, I asked the person last week, and 147 go down to 147.
No, do you have a written, do you have some type of a doc? You don't have any written,
Just verbal.
just your verbal, okay.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, I had asked Mr. Mulver earlier today if having an assessment in itself is acceptable enough, and he had stated that if the assessment is being used for the record to challenge the assessment, an appraisal rather, the appraiser would have to be present with that appraisal.
I understand that. I'm just.
I'm just stating it so
asking.
everybody
Yeah,
understands that.
right.
So,
So Willard, your current assessment is $203,200.
Yeah.
And you feel you should be assessed at $179,000,
That's what yeah, that's,
which is a difference of $24,200.
Yeah, well, you went up $20,000 on land alone on my property. You didn't go to work and take it so much on buildings and anything else, but you took $20,000 on my land.
So I guess I need to ask where your 75,000 is coming in. You had said
Well, the
that,
other was 54,000 on buildings. General property.
I think you need to do the prior assessment. Do you mean your prior assessment? It went up 75,000 from like your last year's assessment?
Right there.
Okay, we're just trying to clarify what you're
Sure.
meant by that.
Sure.
So just for review, for the board of review, without any evidence, such as that appraisal, possibly
Or
some
sales.
for sales, things like that, that could possibly convince both the board and the assessor that it's inaccurate, we cannot override the assessor's assessment. This board does not have the authority to do that. We're bound by state statute to accept the assessment as produced by the assessor unless such other evidence would prove otherwise.
Well, the inequities in my neighborhood alone, Mr. Cole Morgan, who's in my backyard. His property is 149 foot wide on the street. He goes back 300 feet. His tax rate is $250. Now, if you go to work and take these all in consideration and look back at all three of them here, there isn't one of them that has any consistency. In other words, one guy is this way and one guy is that way, and one guy is that way. And as far as land value is concerned, Mr. Cole Morgan has 44,000 square feet of living space, and he's got a park in his backyard. That's my,
Mike, can I ask you to just put a little bit of language around your assessment and your conclusion? Would you
Yeah.
be able to help us better understand?
Okay. Let me start with a description of the property here, okay? We have a single-story ranch style home built in 1992 on a full basement. Okay. Rec room area has been calculated at 593 square feet in the basement. 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths. The home itself has 1,346 square feet of living area on the first floor. Okay. This home has been discounted by 10% because it's a Pittsville home, because it's a manufactured home, okay? So a standard would be a multiplier of 1. This has got a multiplier of 0.9, so it's 10% less. Then we're taking the depreciation off from the home and coming up with a building value of $204,400 for the home with attached garage. I'm sorry, that was the wrong number I gave you. That was the improvements, $159,700. I've looked at several homes after talking to Mr. Kickbush and trying to see where, if anywhere, there was some discrepancy. But then we come back to this home having a 784 square foot attached garage, 864 square foot patio, a 25 square foot open porch, and 172 square foot deck. Now, these are all the items that get costed.
no,
And
I don't,
please,
okay, all right.
so this is basically the skeleton of the home that we had to value here. Okay. Now, as far as the valuation in comparison to the market, that's what these sheets represent.
So can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
You added the valuation with the patio and the porch because they are concrete, is that correct?
It's because they are there.
Because they are there,
They
okay.
could- The patio, of course, would be concrete,
Right,
but, the porches, wood or vinyl materials. The decks, wood or vinyl materials, the porches enclosed or open. It's the way that they get handled according to the Wisconsin Property Assessment Manual.
okay,
Now, what you have here on page 1, you see on the left-hand side, we have the subject property, which is a picture of Mr. Kickbush's home. And we have comparisons 1, 2, and 3 And page 3 replicates the subject property again to show it next to comparison number 4. So if we can go, you can see under the information under Mr. Kickbush's property. I have a neighborhood that I've just named it for my own purposes. I've named that the Center North neighborhood, showing he has a residential lot of 125 front feet on 3rd Street. Then he has another residential lot that's 39 feet wide. Okay. That lies as a T on the back of his property. Okay. Stop me anytime you have questions, please. When we go down, it's a single family home, ranch style. The grade factor is a D+. It was built in 1992. The age and effective age are both 30 years. That is used for calculating the amount of depreciation. Exterior wall on the home is either aluminum or vinyl. The cost is, there's no difference there. Has 1 story, first floor is 1,346 square feet, the basement the same because it's built on a full basement. Then we go down to page number 2 in that same column under Mr. Kickbush's home, 593 square feet. 2 full bathrooms. Property overall in average condition. It's gas, hot water, heat with no air conditioning, no central air, I should specify. Okay, no fireplaces, no additional plumbing fixtures. Attached garage is 784 square feet. The open porch of 25 square feet, deck 172, patio 864. The garage 28 by 32 attached to the house, and the utility shed excuse me, that 28 by 32 garage is the freestanding garage to the rear of his home. And then a 6 by 12 storage shed. Comparison number 1 sold in May of 2021 for $183,000. This is the 1201 4th Street. The net adjustments made on all these items that we've listed on Mr. Kickbush's property, which is different on this 4th Street home. The amount of adjustments totals $56,800, which after making those adjustments would give an indicated value of $239,800 for Mr. Kickbush's home. Okay. Comparability rating is 87%. We'd like it to be higher, but we don't have available sales for that. The gross adjustments were 68%. That's 56,800. Represents 68% of 183,000. Okay. The composite rating, I can't give you a good explanation of that figure, frankly. And we go down to the adjustments on the land. This is a comparison adjustment. The first one, $3,500 being added because the value in this southwest neighborhood is that much lower overall than the Center North neighborhood. Okay. Now we're comparing, the next figure is comparing the actual assessments of Mr. Kickbush's land to the land on the 4th Street property. There's a $13,700 difference there. This property does not have that additional acreage, that additional parcel that Mr. Kickbush has, so we have to add that to this property to make them even. So that's an additional 10,000. Then we get down to the grade factor for this ranch. And this is where that deduction I talked about before on the grade factor, because it's a Pittsville home, shows up. We're deducting 13,600 from the 4th Street home to account for a higher quality on the 4th Street home. Okay, now the depreciation factor for a home that's 8 years older, that's the 8,200. So that has to be added back in because it's substandard in comparison to Mr. Kickbush's. Okay. Then this one had a little more masonry front belt on the home. We get rid of that value by taking $900 off. The next figure, 1,300, is a difference in size. You'll see this home is smaller than Mr. Kickbush's, so that we have to add 1,300 to make the sizes equal. Same thing with the basement, that adds $300. Now, this home has actual finished basement living area, which is better than what he has, Mr. Kickbush's home. So we deduct that to get the value back down and make these properties as comparable as possible. The rec room, it has finished basement, it doesn't have rec room. Now we've got to add $4,500 to equate to that rec room. It has only one full bath and one half bath. That's a difference of $800. Gas forced air with central air conditioning is a $3,200 figure. And we have the attached garage, open porch, all different sizes. If the comparable is better than the Kickbush home, we subtract. If it isn't as good as, then we add. And so you see a couple of items here. For one, that additional garage that Mr. Kickbush has is showing up as a $19,500 value. The utility shed, 400. So there's 20,000 plus the $10,000 land value that the other homes don't have. Puts you at a $30,000 difference. If he wants to compare. Now, I'm happy to go through the other ones for you if you think that's necessary, but you have the documentation here in front of you, and you have these are actual sales that have occurred. In fact, I just go across on the indicate the comparable value. This one on 4th Street showed 239,800, River Road 210,100, the Hillcrest property 184,600, and then the 4th comparable on Baumeister 210,000. With Mr. Kickbush's assessment currently, I think that the actual sales of comparable properties supports the assessment as it should.
That, Mike, that on that 4th Street property, the 239,800, that's the sale? That's what it sold for? Is that what you're saying? On comparison number 1?
No.
You were talking about sale price.
On comparison number 1, the sale price is the 183,000.
Okay.
The 239,800 is if an appraiser were using this sale in comparison, this is what the indicated value of the Kickbush.
I'm looking at the
home
wrong column here. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. No, it's better to get the questions asked now.
So the formulas that you use are state guided, correct?
They are. But the actual numbers come out of the market.
Okay.
Is that all you have at this point? Unless there's
At this
any
point,
questions?
yes. Yeah, unless you have some questions.
Willard, would you like to comment on these comparables?
Yes, the thing that bothers me is the difference in property here. These properties next door to me, for God's sakes, go back 300 feet to Cole Morgan. $240 for his whole property over there. Look what I got in property value, square footage in comparison to what he has. It don't even compare, and he gets getting away with $250 or 250 is tax is going to be. Right now, it's that's value.
So Willard, I guess what I understand of this is they can't compare you to your neighbors. They have to do a comparison
I
to,
understand the sales is very important, but
well, I was gonna say to the size of house and lot of other areas in the community as far as what your house size and your lot size is, they have to find a comparison for that. That's my understanding.
I'll have to accept what you got, I suppose.
Well, in all honesty, Willard, we have to accept what's presented by the assessor,
I understand that.
right?
I don't agree with it, but we're gonna have to, I suppose, accept it. It ain't gonna make much difference to me. I'm 93, I maybe won't be here tomorrow. I mean, the house don't belong to me anyways. The house belongs to my family. So, that ain't the point. I do the pay. I maintain, I take care, I do everything on it. Not only that, I also take care of the snow on the city street. And I take care of the 26 feet and 179 feet of grass cutting for the last 30 years on the city street, which has happened, never got a gallon of gas. So I guess I can continue doing it at the present time.
Well, Willard, I will say your house always looks beautiful and we appreciate that.
Well, I try to keep it up. Yes.
I know you do, and you do a fantastic job at that.
And your pride shows it.
Oh, sure.
It does.
It hurts a little bit.
Well, we appreciate your time and coming in. Thank you.
Well, this is good. I can show my boys the comparison. Absolutely. We're building right now, my son a home, so,
Yep.
okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank
Thanks
you,
so much.
Willard.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget your water behind you.
We have to have a motion.
To accept the assessment. Okay, so on the,
I will make a motion to
let
accept.
me just read the thing here. Okay, so in item 11, the objection to the tax roll by Mr. Willard Kickbush. At this time, I would entertain a motion supporting the assessor's assessment of 317 Third Street.
I will make a motion to accept the assessor's assessment as written.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thank you again, Willard.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So,
Excuse me.
yes,
Karen, do you have the, can't think of the former's name now. I'm sorry.
Good evening.
take care, Willard.
Bye, Willard.
The
Thank you.
determination of the border review. Did you see anything like that? Okay, that will have to be completed and mailed to Mr. Kickbush. Should have thought of that earlier. We could have gotten that printed out and handed to him right away.
So at this time, if there are no other objections on the tax roll, I believe we're going to shut down the YouTube recording unless someone were to be a walk-in. We will be here until 6 PM this evening, as required by statute. If someone does come in, then we will go back to live broadcast. Otherwise, after 6 o'clock, if no one else has come in to object to the tax roll, we will just simply be adjourned. Thank you.